Amazon changed the game in so many different ways, and one of the things that they have done was increased or influenced the idea of reviews and how reviews will influence our conversion rate. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about that and also give you some ideas how this can help you as a B2B sales rep. Conversion rate, reviews, 5 stars. Good stuff today. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And as I mentioned in the teaser, we're going to talk about 5-star reviews today and how these can help us increase our conversion rate. This is what Amazon has done. They've provided this way. And you know what? For many of us, no matter if we're an entrepreneur or a small business owner or a sales rep working for a Fortune 500 company, reviews, testimonials, and what other people are saying are critical, especially when you're trying to overcome objections. So on today's episode, Brian Greenberg, dude has been successful, made some, generated over $50 million with his companies. He's worked and been very successful growing businesses in e-commerce, in marketing, and in financial services. And today he's going to share his ways or his strategies, how he's going about getting these reviews. And as a B2B sales rep, how you can get some of these reviews from your customers. You can utilize them in your proposals or on the website or provide them to marketing. Or if you're a business owner, how you can take advantage of the strategy and increase your conversion rate. It's some good stuff. Listen to his story, listen to his ideas, and see how you can apply them. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course, man. We were just talking about the podcast, talking before we went live about the idea of the salesman who sells, the salesman who doesn't sell, how you can have that opportunity to generate more income. And I know entrepreneurs are listening to this and sales reps, and they want to hear more about this idea. But before we dive into all that fun stuff, Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and what you do?
Sure. I've been selling online for, I think I started in 2008. So quite some time, and I've been making my living doing sales. Basically, when people find me online, they do a Google search. And I've done various businesses. My main business right now is life insurance. Now, life insurance is one of the most competitive niches on the internet. Yeah. So ranking and then converting people is a big thing. And I've been able to have about, I think, double the conversion rate of all my competitors. So that's been a big thing for my business. And I've wrote a book called The Salesman Who Doesn't Sell, a guide to making money while you sleep. And my whole thing is selling without selling. So I want people to be ready to buy when they call us, ready to buy online without even needing to talk to them.
And this is, some people will get controversial with this idea. And I think there are definitely different aspects of that sales, of selling. There's different ways that you can do that. And no one's going to argue that we all want the same thing in the end, which is revenue. We want to be able to generate that. And is there a way that we can do it easier? And that's what we want to focus on with some of your insights today and how you've been able to do that. Because we don't want to focus just, if you're a sales rep listening to this and you're in a traditionalist camp, that you just have to make the cold call, go knock on doors, God bless you, go do that if that's all you want to do. But there are other ways that we can generate and be successful as well. So I want to pick your brain on that. So I get the idea of where the book came from, but I want to talk about the idea of how our testimonials or how our reviews, so to speak, can be critical in helping us to sell more effectively and to convert more people. So let's talk about that. Why are they so critical? Why in the world? And I'm sure it may sound like it's an elementary question, but there's still some science behind it. Why reviews are critical for any type of selling.
Well, let's say you are knocking on doors and seeing people face to face. Now, whether they're going to commit right then and there, that's up in the air. But what people do these days is they go online and they look you up. Mm-hmm. They're looking for your reputation. So they'll look up your name, your company, followed by reviews and complaints. And that's what we found on our website. So the last thing people do before they actually make a purchase is they look you up online. So I believe in building up the best online reputation possible. Now, one of the best ways to do that is online reviews. it kind of takes the place of references, right?
Mm.
So very rarely do people say, can I see a list of references, because I have hundreds of references online.
Yeah.
One of the ways to make very persuasive testimonials is to list as much information you can about people. I like to put their names, their city, exactly what they bought, and then the little snippet of their testimonial. What you get is the similarity effect, right? So people like them had a good experience.
Yeah.
You get the accountability effect, right? So if somebody has a problem with your service, they know they could have some sort of accountability that you care.
Mm.
And if you're giving people all this information online, giving away something for free, you get the reciprocity effect, right? It's kind of why when you go into a car dealership, they offer you a soda, right? Just a small thing induces that.
Yeah. No, going back to what you shared there with the idea of reviews, how many of us, and many of us are probably, when you were talking about that, I know I have to go back and look at a recording if I physically nod my head, because I know that feeling. My wife and I, we just bought a gate
Yeah.
online we have a 1 year old now, and he's starting to become mobile. So we have the upstairs blocked off, but we're blocking off more rooms so he can't get access to that. But the first thing I did after looking at the gate that it looked aesthetically appealing, then I jumped down to the area of looking at to see how many people bought this
Yeah.
thing and what the review was like. And the other thing I'm noticing, and I've had a guest that we talked about this, is that B2B tend to be a little bit slower behind B2C. So as somebody who's going direct to consumer, that sales process, we've been conditioned by Amazon and by some of those other businesses. So that now when we come to it, we kind of come into the B2B space and we want to see that same idea. So even if you're a sales rep selling SaaS, the customers are still wanting to see that review, that review or that reference, because it's triggered by how they just bought a Apple Watch the other day online. Am I making sense with that?
Of course. Yeah. You look, I know B sales are slower, right?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you have to run it up the chain, right? But if you have something that you could show the upper people, and in the terms of reviews,
Yeah.
Up the chain, people are impressed, right? I want to say, the people that are getting reviews, people are hesitant, right? They're scared they're going to get a bad review.
Yeah.
I preach, hey, only ask the people that are happy for reviews, right? So the time to ask is as soon as they say that they're happy. I even have some of my employees ask them, are you happy? And then we ask them for the reviews.
Yeah.
We collect them ourselves first, right? So I'll send them an email, a text, and I'll get my review first that I have control over. All right. The next thing I'll do is, hey, can you give that same review on the BBB or Google Business? If there's a problem, I want to head it off right away.
Yeah.
And that's a safer way, I think, to, lower the barrier of people's hesitation to start reviews.
So when you say that, I mean, are there a percentage of people that say, well, I already gave it to you, I don't want to do it again? Or does it not matter because it's something that they have control over? I mean, you don't have control over it. You don't have control over BBB or Google. Is that the mindset behind it?
Yeah, they're worth more, right?
Yeah.
So I like to put a monetary value on reviews. Nobody really does that, right? I mean, on Yelp, they'll say, oh, an extra star will increase your business 20%. Now, for me, if I get a review for my website, I think it's $100. Right?
Why? Why do you say 100?
The increase in conversion rates.
Gotcha.
Right? It's just, we have people, call us there, say, look, I was sold already. I saw the reviews. That's why I chose you, right? If you get a review on a third-party website, they know you can't control it. It's worth a lot more. So I say it's worth $250 each, and maybe $50 each every year. What this means is you can bonus your employees for getting these reviews, right? Especially getting started. I like to run a monthly bonus. I like to bonus employees for every review that they get.
Yeah.
And if they get 3 reviews, great. All right. The more I get, I love it, right? It just makes everything easier. The salespeople have just the easiest time. That's the way I like to do it. And promote it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
On our emails that we send to people, we have links to our Google Business and our BBB, even reviews for that particular employee.
Interesting.
We see a very high conversion rate.
That's it's fascinating. You mentioned the idea of the individual employee, because
Mm,
usually if I'm a prospect, I'm going to go let me look at their LinkedIn to see what they have done and
yeah.
so forth. But the idea of seeing what other customers are saying about them, that's a whole different category. Um, Smart idea. I like it. May have to
Yeah.
borrow that.
So, right. And there are internal reviews that I show, right? You can't really
Yeah.
get into individual reviews on a third party website. But yeah, I ask them two things. Can you review my company, my service? And
Yeah.
can you review how the sales process was handled by a particular person?
Yeah. Well, I'm one of the thoughts that came to mind now is going back to this idea of the research. What's the correlation or between the customer review, or should I say the relationship between customer reviews and the customer research? How critical is that? You kind of alluded to it, but it just kind of fostered our mind. I think there's more to that in a dialogue there.
Yeah, I think people like to make a decision quickly,
Mm.
right? And reviews are the best way to do it. You'll see on Amazon has a 20% conversion rate, which the normal is, I think, like 3%, 2%. So reviews are extremely persuasive, even more persuasive than word of mouth, right? So let's say you're looking for a good pizza restaurant, right? And you'll ask a friend, and they say, "Well, I love this restaurant; it's our favorite one." But you go online and you,
Yeah.
you look up this pizza place, and it's got terrible reviews. Don't eat here. The service was bad. I got sick. Who are you going to believe, right? And overwhelmingly, it's these online reviews, these anonymous people. It's
Yeah.
so persuasive. And like I said, we track people on our website. The last thing that they do, they leave the site and they go and look up our reviews. And we see also in the emails, people click on those reviews. And on our website, overwhelmingly, the people that purchase from us have viewed our reviews.
Interesting. So there, one, and go back to this idea of the anonymous too. I'm thinking about myself, and
Mm,
I've been in that situation where, again, I trust my friend's judgment, but if there are multiple individuals who I do not know, who do not have a stake in this game, and they're saying, "Listen, do not
yeah.
eat at this place. I got sick," then it's definitely going to deter. Maybe things have changed since my friend went there, but in my mind, I'm thinking that's where it's at. And I think with the buyer's journey, every buyer is going to be that nobody wants to be hoodwinked. Nobody wants to feel like they were pushed or they were bamboozled and making and getting something. So I think that correlation also helps to verify their decision with those reviews. Would you say what percentage of your sales? I'm not sure if you can even answer this number, or maybe it's a general number. What percentage of sales usually is your sales right now come because of somebody getting some kind of review? Do you feel that all of them have been 90% of them because they're checking out reviews, or how does that all work together with your sales process?
The first thing I need to do is get them to my site. All right. So if you're cold calling, you got to get them on the phone, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing is about uh, what are you going to do once you get to that step,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of different ways to leverage the reviews. It hurts me when people get reviews but don't share it, right? I put it on every page of my website. I think I alluded that I put it in my
Yeah.
emails. In Google, I have a special code, so when people look up my website, they'll see stars in the
Mm,
form of rich snippets. Increases the click-through rate, I think more than double, right? And then you have local business listings, which is a huge opportunity, right? So especially if you run a local business, Google lists all those reviews. They show up first. You got Yelp, you got TripAdvisor, wherever it may be, that brings in business. And which one are you going to click on? If you go to Yelp, very rarely are you going to hire the person that has 2-star reviews, right? It's just easier, right? If you go to the grocery store and you see 100 different mustards, which one are you going to do? But if they put a recommendation there, or if one of them is all sold out, you're looking for clues,
yeah.
and you're looking for an easy way to make a safe decision.
Yeah. I think the point that you mentioned there, you're looking for clues and also the barrier. You're looking for the easiest way to get it. I think if something is frictionless, then I'm more than likely to do that. If they're going to have me jump through 10,000 hoops to be able to give them my money, I don't want to deal with that, man.
That's the other part, Donald. You want to, in order to sell without selling, or basically to, tee it up, right? And
Yeah.
have them make a purchase, you have to answer all their questions. So you're going to want to have an FAQ headed off before they ask, right? What is the return policy, right? When, do I pay the full thing up front? Everything they could possibly think. Ask your employees, what questions do people ask? And make sure you answer those. One of the things that comes up is, should I list my pricing? Right? It depends what business you're in. Okay. What I have found, if you do list your pricing, then you're going to find a lot of easy sales, right?
Yeah.
If somebody doesn't list their pricing, they know that there's going to have to be a phone call, a sales call.
Yeah.
Depending on the service, they may not want that, right? You'd be surprised at how many people buy life insurance at 1 o'clock in the morning. But we guide them through that. And it is possible. And if you do answer all their questions, go through all the steps, you're going to get there. Now, I think I alluded to the similarity effect, right?
Yeah.
So when you're doing reviews, you got to keep collecting them, because if they were recent, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to put reviews on your website and you don't put a time frame on it, or you don't put what service. You want to follow the Amazon type of layout. All right, so stars are very helpful. A comment, the date it was left, the name of the person, and where the person's from. Those are they look great. They're believable, and those are the ones that sway the most. You want it to look real. You want it to look legitimate.
And I think especially in the B2B side too, if the company's name could carry some weight. If I sold something to Microsoft, shoot, better believe I better put that VP of sales at Microsoft, sales training, in what date? That's December 2019.
It even helps to do the dates. But yeah, that's extremely persuasive. Any PR you do or big clients, you want to leverage those logos, essentially, that their reputation, you can kind of piggyback on it.
Yeah.
So that's another way to leverage people once you've made the introduction.
Yeah. I want to talk to you. You mentioned this idea before. One of the concept was the SEO barnacle. Am I saying that right?
Barnacle SEO. Yeah.
Barnacle SEO.
Yeah. Oh, you got that one right. That kind of brings me back to doing marketing on sites you don't own, right? So a barnacle would attach themselves to a larger entity, right? Maybe a large ship or a big rock. But if you can associate yourself on Yelp or Google Business or any of these other places that are pretty much made to help people find businesses like yours, take advantage. There's a lot of people that don't even have websites, that don't even need websites, because they're so associated with a particular review service. Or, if people type in what's the best sales training, right?
Yeah.
You rank it. And if you're on that list, that's another form of barnacle SEO.
So getting with the right people, getting in the right place, essentially it's kind of being where the traffic is going, right? And even in a situation like that on those lists, you don't have to be there. I find it fascinating when we ask people how to hear about us. They said, I found you on a list, best sales podcast or whatnot. And I'm grateful for those, because there is some marketing that I don't have to do anything for per se. And it's because, like you said, this idea, the barnacle, being able to attach myself to the entities or the organization. And it does make it very persuasive for them that they can say, well, clearly this organization is vetting this podcast. I should probably check it out too.
Yeah, I love the accountability of it. Even when I'm hiring services, I like to hire people with a lot of reviews. Because let's say, God forbid, something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And they don't fix it, right? So if you leave a 1-star review, and it's going to get their attention. So, unfortunately, sometimes it comes to that. But you got accountability on those people, right? People have the ability to update a review or remove a review.
Yeah.
So people are going to make mistakes, but it's how these companies handle it when they happen that
Yeah.
separates them.
Yeah, because I think if you did a horrible service installing my AC unit, man, I don't want other people to get screwed as well, so I'm gonna go share that. But if you owned up to it, yeah, by all means, I'm gonna fix that.
Yeah.
And so I love that idea of the accountability factor behind it, and it also keeps the level of service that it's almost like the industry regulating itself, right?
Yes.
Naturally, because now all the competitors are going to say, well, I can't just do a haphazard job because I'm going to be around, got Joe AC over here. They do a fantastic job and they have great reviews. I need to do that. And I think the same way with our software products, or whether it's our IT services, or even our marketing firms, our marketing companies, we need to make sure we continue to consistently perform at the top level, because when we do that, again, customers know it, customers are going to talk, industry know it, they know what's par, and it encourages you and your team to strive for better, like what you guys are doing internally, where you reward people with those reviews, because they know if we want to get good reviews, then, and to get the reward for doing that, we need to do a dang good job up front, to make it happen. So it builds this culture internally as well as external.
Yes. Yeah. It's, I think, like you said, it's a foundation, right? So
Yeah,
if you're aiming for 5-star reviews from the start, everything falls in line. Yeah. And let's say, I think they've done studies, right? They've done
sure.
studies where the people that have the happiest customers, right,
Hmm.
they grow the fastest. So you'll see even Amazon, they offer amazing service. They're always on the top list of greatest customer service. So if you call them and there is a problem, what do? Let me ship you a new one. Let me give you credit. I don't know if anyone's called, but a company like that, uh, as big as they are, and as little recourse as a little guy may have, they're making it right
Yeah.
all the time. And that's why people feel safe on ordering it on Amazon, right? So even if you're going to have the choice to buy it on Amazon or their site directly, where are you going to buy it? Where are you safer? It's a safety thing.
I got some security there in Amazon, so
Yeah,
if anything goes wrong, Bezos got my back.
right. And let's say you did have a bad experience with an air conditioning. So,
Yeah,
uh, if the owner calls them and you make it right, you give them a discount, you fix it right away, they'll take it down. Or
yeah,
they'll update it and say, hey, this company made it right.
yeah.
I'm very happy with the service and I have no problem recommending them. That happens.
I felt in one of our trainings, it was a while ago, I realized that a lot of sales is really just mitigating risk. Because,
Yeah.
like, for me as the buyer, I have this anxiety sometimes of giving up my money for something that's not going to be of worth, not going to be of the great value, right? If I buy your service, your coaching service, what is to say that I'm going to get the return that is promised? And again, reviews mitigate that risk, money back mitigate that risk. But also the simple fact, if I can get some kind of surety, like especially in a situation like this, if you make a mistake and you own it up in the process, then me as a buyer, if I'm reading that again and seeing that I sell that, that Brent had a bad service, and company owner Shanika, she reached back out to him and took the time to talk to him, it shows me that they're not fly by night. Yes, they did make a mistake. They owned up to it. And I think that's a beautiful thing about America too. It's like,
Yeah.
I've seen that if you make a mistake in America, just apologize and
Yeah.
say, I was
People are
wrong.
human.
They are, and they'll forgive you for it and they'll move on, and life will make better. I think when you try to cover it up or you try to push it off on the customer and say it's your fault, sometimes you just have to fall on the sword and just like say, this will end it as quick as possible. Even though we weren't totally wrong, let's just end it. Let's own up to it. We're gonna, you give up $10 a product or whatever, but then in return, you're gonna make
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars on the back end.
Yeah. A negative review can cost you tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
And I've seen companies that they have to close their company and rename it
yeah,
just so they can start all over again because they made that mistake. Now, I think you asked the question of, are people willing to give a review? And are
yeah,
they willing to give you multiple reviews? And the answer to that is yes. People have this feeling of reciprocity, right?
yeah.
And if you did a good job, I want to let other people know. You did good by me. I want to do good by you. Make it easy on them.
Hmm.
So if they give me one review, I'll send them an email with the exact same thing they wrote, so they don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
and I'll send them a link directly to the place where they enter the review. If you're going to send them to Google to give a review, send them to the place right where they click on it and it shows the window to enter in the reviews. Huge. On my website, I have instructions on how to do that. Very few people do that, but the less barriers you have, they do it. If we get one review, we usually get 3.
Yeah. Yeah, that's multiple effect, right? I mean, I think it's just working smarter, not necessarily harder. You're not getting 3
Yes.
customers; you're getting 1 customer that can leverage that in 3 different spots. Um, now, you said that you ask customers if they're happy. Is it
Oh,
usually at
yeah.
the end of the sales process that you try to get referrals, or how does that typically work within your team?
Yeah, at the end, right? I
Mhm.
think that's the best place. You may want to plant a seed early on. We work really hard to make you happy. We go for 5-star reviews. You can plant the seed, right?
Yeah.
At the end, though, when they're happy, you ask. And there's a lot of different ways. If you're an employee, say, look, you're in a contest. Can you help me out? We have one employee that does this nonstop, and everyone that gives a review, thank you, Jen. Jen was amazing. She's the best. Uh, so there's easy ways to do it, and there's text now, right? Text is
Mhm.
so easy. People are on their phones. You just put a link in text. You just have to kind of get over the hesitation to begin asking for it.
Yeah.
And as you start building them up, it's like the wheel becomes heavier and it starts turning, and then you got a machine that's just bringing in leads, which is wonderful.
How do you, I mean, I think for an organization that's not doing reviews right now, how do you remember each time to get that review? Do you, any ideas or any strategies that you would encourage a sales leader or a business owner?
Yeah. First of all, know the value of it. Once you know the value of it, you can bonus employees. That's
Gotcha.
the motivating factor, unfortunately. So somebody gets a review, $25, right?
Yeah.
Maybe an additional one, $10. Maybe run a contest, right? The winner gets $500 for the month. Whatever it may be, you have to give the employees some incentive. It's very difficult to say, hey, it's important to us. Incentivize, and that's a big thing. And uh, I think you alluded to when people leave you bad reviews, what do you do?
Yeah.
Hey, knock on wood, I have I think I have no bad reviews, right? And it's not to say that I didn't get them, all
Yeah.
right? It's that I fixed it, right? As the owner, you call them and you make it right. What can I do to make it right? If I did this, does it fix the problem? And after you fix it, that's the time you ask them to take it down.
Mm.
All right. You don't want to form any sort of like, hey, I'll give you this if you take the review down. Doesn't work so well.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, let me give you the discount, let me send you this check, let me send you a gift card, you say, did you get the gift card? Yes, thank you so much. Would you mind? Reviews are so important to us. Would you mind taking it down?
Yeah.
So I want to let people know that even if you do get bad reviews, overwhelmingly, people will take it down if you make it right.
Yeah. Now, yeah, I think again, go back to that's the critical side, making it right.
Yeah.
Somebody's on this podcast and they're thinking, I want to start doing this today. I want to start, I wish I had done this 10 years ago when my company first started. The very first thing we should do to get started with getting referrals to help us convert.
There's a lot of software out there. There's
Yeah.
Bird Eye, there's Shopper Approved, there's Trustpilot. They're an investment, right? So they can cost $300, $500 a month, but they pay off so nice. The other thing is you control those reviews, right?
Mm.
So if you do get a bad review, you usually have the option to take one down. These companies, you pay them for it.
Yeah.
After that, you're going to want to, do the profiles on Google and all the different places that are relevant to your business. Do the whole profile, fill the whole thing out, all the descriptions, and start building up reviews. Ask your friend, ask your buddy to start you off. Just one, right?
Yeah.
And you want to get that wheel turning. But I think once you get somebody that calls you and they say, you got great reviews, it's just, you get addicted to it almost, and you realize the power of it.
Yeah.
So take it from me, I have a double conversion rates, and look, I've been selling online, and I've been having a great time doing it without doing very much sales. So it does work on a very massive scale. And it's even doing face-to-face. It could be just tremendous. Reviews have become one of the biggest motivating factors to people making decision there is right now.
Love it, man. If folks out there listening to this want to get access to you, well, let's talk about your book actually for a second, if you don't mind. The Salesman Who Doesn't Sell. Do you mind telling us a little bit more about the book, where we can find it and so forth?
Sure. It's on Amazon, obviously, and Audible. I'd like to offer all your listeners a free copy. All right. So if they go to brianjgreenberg.com/TSE, right, awesome. Your podcast, they can go there. They can download the PDF version and the audio version. And it just gets the word out there. I love giving this advice to people because it perpetuates people doing great business, which is what we all want. We want to get the people who aren't offering good business. We want to get the people doing the good stuff out there.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic, man. We appreciate that generous offer, and we'll make sure to share that in our show notes. So folks, go back and check it out again. You can find all the information, brianjgreenberg.com/TSE, and we'll put that in our show notes. Thanks so much, Brian, for taking the time to come on the show today. We appreciate you and appreciate the insights you shared with us.
Thank you, Donald.
That was our friend, Mr. Brian Greenberg, and you can find out more about Brian if you're watching this on TSE TV. Just go ahead and scroll down. You'll see a link below. You could click on that. It'll take you back to Brian's website, and you can also learn about some of the great things and the great content and things that he's sharing that can help you in your effort as a sales rep. I want you to increase your conversion rate, and I want you to thrive and to succeed. Some of my friends who do want you to thrive and succeed are my friends over at Pipedrive, and if you haven't taken advantage of the offer, you'll see the link pop up down below. Just go ahead and take advantage of it. You get 14-day trial. Well, actually, what's that? Scratch that. As a TSE listener, you get a 30-day trial, and you get 25% off the first 3 months. You can't beat that. Go ahead and check out Pipedrive. Use promo code Pipedrive TSE. I can't even pronounce it or say it out loud, but you can see it on the link below on your screen. It's Pipedrive TSE. As always, we share stuff like this because we want to help you. We want you to succeed. We want you to find more of those ideal customers. We want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. We want you to be able to close more deals. But most importantly, we want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.